Hello and welcome to episode 156 of Gamers of the Lost Spark podcast. I'm your host, Antony Chesson, and joining me this week, it's the other Spark on the pod, a man who is joining for his second hat-trick of 2019. It's Sporty Spark, Mr. Stuart Burgess.
I like it. Second hat-trick. I didn't realise that. That's a momentous occasion.
Second hat-trick.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You were pre-E3, you were E3, and now you're post-E3.
I'm definitely post-E3. I don't know about you, but I'm still shattered after last week's Mammoth one. It took me at least a good couple of hours to come down after that one.
It was a good one. I had to edit it. Luckily, we're, seasoned professionals and we're very good at our craft, so I didn't have to it didn't take me too long to edit it. But I think I woke up at about 6:30 on the Saturday morning and just woke up, big cup of coffee, some cereal, and then just kind of hit the edit. So it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad at all. How are things? How's E3 looking now that we're the other side of the pod? Things have maybe settled down, and you've maybe watched a couple of more kind of videos and stuff. How are you still kind of thinking the same things were the good, the highs, the lows of E3? Has there been anything else that's kind of popped up and kind of caught your radar?
Not too much. I mean, I think as we sort of both found this evening looking for some weekly news, there's not a lot of people are doing much. I think everybody got a bit overhyped at E3, but yeah, I mean, there's some of the other podcasts that I'd normally listen to. They had sort of gone to doing more E3 specials, and it's sort of like, and I tried to listen to a few of them, and a few of them were just like, no, I'm not listening to that. And but there was a few people. I caught a few bits and pieces, about Cyberpunk 2077, which was quite interesting. Apparently, the free jackets they gave away are going up to something like $500 on eBay at the moment in America or something like that. And
Crazy.
I know, it's silly. But no, I'm still pretty hyped for it. There's been some negatives coming out of it, and there's been some positives coming out of it. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, looking forward to next year, and looking forward to what seems to be the very busy start of 2020 we're going to have.
Yeah, absolutely. I was looking at that today when I was just kind of going through and same as you, kind of getting some news articles ready. I was looking through all the games that are coming out. I think at some point in a couple of weeks' time, what we'll have to do is kind of have a list of the games that are kind of the big ones that are coming out and when they're coming out, because I think that'll be quite an interesting list to kind of go through and just figure out kind of when we're playing what. But I think it's almost from like September all the way through to probably May. Yeah. It's probably a big game coming out almost every month. In some months, a couple of games coming out.
And some big games.
I think there's some. Yes, there's some. It's quite funny because you get Gears and Borderlands 3 are almost back to back. I think they're like a week apart. Even if that, it might even be Friday for Gears and the Tuesday for Borderlands. It's that kind of thing. So and. Couple of weeks before we go to a friend's wedding, which is really good.
So what are you two going to do? Because I know Gears before has been a day off and barbecue food, and I see a lot of I see two very tired people in Royal Tunbridge Wells, eating smothered in barbecue food and controllers strewn across the floor, or almost like a Hangover movies type sort of thing.
Well, it'll be tiny because we always put away at the end. But absolutely, we'll be just like four. But no, absolutely. I mean, we normally I think when the pre-sequel came out, I think we might have even taken the day off of that for Borderlands as well, but I think Nicola and I have been working through our holidays and booking because my holiday's quite weird at work. I go April to April, so we've been kind of working out all of our holidays for the rest of the year. So I think I've got about a day left in the bank, but I've got some big weekends where I'm going to be working over the year, so I'm going to recoup some days. Cool. But it probably won't be a day off for either of those, but it's definitely going to be some late nights, as you say. It's going to be some long gaming sessions to try and. But I think you might have said it last week about kind of Forza Horizon. I don't want to rush it. Don't want to rush through Gears, but at the same time, I want to be there kind of day one playing Borderlands as well. So it's kind of, but it's good to just have both those. I'm sure Nicola won't allow me to move on until we finish Gears. So we won't be able to play Borderlands until we've. I might fire it up and have a quick look at the new graphics, but that'll probably be my lot.
It is tricky. It is tricky because it is sort of like I'm exactly with you. You want to be playing the new hotness. So when you listen to the podcast, when you do the podcast, you're relevant to your listeners and relevant to the people you're listening to. And but yeah, I mean, there's some, as one of your games that you've played this week, there's some big games out there you can't blast through. I know I really need to get back into. Well, even for me, to be honest, even if I go back, I haven't finished all of Spider-Man. I haven't finished all of the New Dawn, wasn't it? The Far Cry new one. Haven't finished all of that.
Oh, right.
There's one other one. Oh, yeah, the one that you have just returned. I haven't finished all of that. So it's just sort of like, yeah, and that's the problem. You sort of want to play. I mean, I suppose the thing is for me is I'm not hugely fussed about Borderlands because I haven't played the ones before. I've got them. I just haven't started them yet. So I've got a feeling that might be one of the ones that sits there and gets played later on down the line. But Gears, Gears, I can't wait for Gears. That's going to be a day and date one for me.
Yeah, it just looks so good. I can't wait to see more and just kind of get my hands on that. It's interesting, actually. Mr. Carter, who is not on the pod, obviously, this evening, but he's been playing Borderlands 2. I've seen him kind of, as we've been playing like Forza Horizon, I've seen him playing Borderlands 2 at the moment. So he's obviously jumping into a bit of Borderlands as well. And I think when he shared a picture of his new gaming spot, he had Borderlands 2 on the screen as well, so he sounds like he's kind of jumped into Borderlands and playing that. We'll get him on the pod and have a chat about it.
We found him eventually then, did we?
We found him, yes, he is still alive.
He sort of dropped off the E3 Earth for a good while and then popped back up again, smothered in IPA.
Yes, smothered in something. But I just, I mean, for me, I'm the same. I think the one thing that I didn't really, because there was so much information that was coming in, I think we mentioned it last week in our big run through, but there was so much that we were just consuming so much stuff. I think we might have skipped over it, but it's that Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker saga it's not just an up-res. They've actually changed parts of the game. So I looked at an IGN article actually where they had hands-on, or they were seeing a demo, they were watching a gameplay demo at E3, and it's more than just, let's just take those other games that have come before it. They've actually taken the Star Wars game, so the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi games, and they've changed them slightly. So they've kind of made them more, because if you think about it, they were one of the first big Star Wars games, one of the first big Lego games, was Star Wars. So they've kind of taken them and they've upgraded them somewhat, so almost a kind of remastering, reimaging that we've seen do a couple of times. So this suddenly makes the Skywalker saga, even though it did make me tear up over the whilst I was watching the Xbox conference, I've now found that it's more than just all those games I've played before again, so I think that's kind of back on my list of games I want to play. It doesn't come out until next year. It doesn't come out until 2020, but I think it's definitely kind of back on there, because before I thought, well, I played through the prequels, I played through the original Star Wars, so it's just for the last two, which would be Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, but it seems to be something a whole lot different. So for me, I think it's kind of, because it's like everyone knows, it's like we love E3 because it's showing us all that good stuff that's coming over the next kind of year and a half, but the problem is there's so much happening. There's so much to consume. So things like that, like, oh yeah, that's lovely, I'll have a look at that. But now I actually found out that there's more to it than that. So which is quite cool. I quite like it.
I think I do want to try and grab 5 minutes, but grab an hour and a half to go back and do the Xbox One again, because I have sort of been watching a few things like BBC Click at the weekend and a few other bits and pieces, and I don't think I've missed things on it, but I think I haven't completely consumed things that maybe were going on. Maybe we were, WhatsApping each other about, Keanu on there and things like that. So I do want to go back and watch it again, because I heard, I got a feeling it was BBC Click, because I've been watching it over a few mornings, but I don't know whether it's right, but they said that Avengers is episodic. So the Avengers game isn't a Fallout game at the beginning. It's going to be episodic, which is going to last over a couple of years.
Well, I heard that there is a single player. Yeah. So the description of the game, of the Avengers game, is that there is a single player campaign in the game. So a single player campaign that you just go through, you play, but then there is a Destiny style back end game, if you will. So it's almost like playing the Division on your own, and then when you get to the end, you can then start playing. Okay. So we have to, you and I would have to get to the end of the game before we could then jump into this Avengers world and then go and avenge together. So we have to go through that campaign. So I don't know if they're side by side, you have to finish it, but that's what I heard from, I think it was from the IGN podcast Unlocked, actually. They kind of jumped in, they were saying how disappointed they were, and it's quite funny that we were almost saying the opposite to what we were saying last week about the look and feel of the characters, where I was saying that, it doesn't matter because being a comic book guy, they do change constantly. And I think a lot of people, as we were saying last week, so we're repeating that, but it's kind of almost a lot of people, the only time they know Iron Man or Thor is Chris Hemsworth or Robert Downey Jr. So it's that. So, but they were saying that there is a single player and then a open world Destiny, which is why when you pre-order, which isn't available on Xbox at the moment, but when you pre-order, you get access to the beta. And that beta test is going to be to make sure that Destiny part of that game is up and running and working well.
Right. Okay, that clears things up a bit, because it's, it was one of those things I wasn't 100% sure about, but I quite agree that they were, people were saying they haven't ponied up and paid for the image rights for the Chris Hemsworth and Robbie Downey Jr. It's like, well, no, you could, in a typical way, you're looking at it the wrong way. You're looking at it, as I say, you're looking at it from the movie point of view, which is what everybody knows, not from the comic book point of view. And actually, you don't need those characters in there to make it that. It's just that the vast majority of people know the Avengers as that, which is unfortunate because they're missing a lot of great content.
Exactly. It's not Disney's Avengers, it's Marvel's Avengers, and like I say, you go into Forbidden Planet, go to the A section in there, you will see Iron Man looking very different to Robert Downey Jr. You will see Thor looking very different right now to Chris Hemsworth, and they haven't. One of the things that I really like is that the comic books haven't kind of gone, oh, well, they're really popular, so we're going to do this, and we're going to move our models away from there. It's quite funny, actually, because years and years ago, probably about 15 years ago, a series came out called The Ultimates, and it was Marvel rebooting kind of everything for people to come in and to jump in. And the person who drew that was Brian Hitch. It was written by Brian Michael Bendis, and it was drawn by Brian Hitch. And he actually drew, this is how we got Samuel Jackson playing Nick Fury, because Nick Fury was a white guy, but he drew Nick Fury looking like Samuel Jackson. So instead of this crusty old white guy that we've had throughout the years since World War II, since Stan Lee drew him in the first, this was like Brian Hitch drew him as Samuel Jackson. He also had Iron Man, Tony Stark, as Robert Downey Jr. The Hulk was more of a Steve Buscemi kind of looking guy, and they actually have this moment in the very first issue where they're sitting around the table going, if they made a movie, who would play us? And they go through these characters, and it's really interesting. And then I think from there, Samuel Jackson then kind of got attached to it, and I think Jonathan Ross, on the Jonathan Ross show, when Endgame came out and Samuel Jackson was on there, he actually introduced him on the show to Brian Hitch and gave him the first drawing of Samuel Jackson, so Brian Hitch gave it to him. And it was a real kind of touching moment, but that's the only time for me you've really, apart from obviously if there's a movie crossover, but that's the only time you've actually kind of seen, like, Spider-Man doesn't look anything like Tom Holland, it's like in the comic books, and I just think it's fantastic. It's great that we have these multiverses, if you will, so... But yeah, it's an interesting one, and it's really funny how, as we were saying last week, when people are seeing that, they're like, that's not Robert Downey Jr., that's not Chris Hemsworth, doesn't even sound like him. I'm like, it's not supposed to, there's many different guises, to those guys. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I can't wait for that game. I'm just ashamed it's next year, isn't it? It's coming out next year.
It's a next year one. I mean, okay, I suppose we're being sport this year. We've got a few good games this year, so that'll keep us going for a while. So, but I mean, I think it's gonna be a very busy 12 months, and then E3 will roll around again, and then we'll get on the hype for Scarlet and whatever PlayStation's new console will be if they decide to launch it next year, and all the new glorious stuff. So, but no, it's going to be a good end to this year.
speaking of Scarlet, just before we move on to what we've been playing this week, what I have been playing, or I've been listening to, is the Giant Bomb E3 coverage. They almost do a good job as us, almost. But the standout to it, I think, was that there was, I think it was episode 2 of their E3 at night, and there's basically a 49-minute interview with Phil Spencer.
Oh, okay.
A fantastic must-listen. If you're into Xbox, if you want to know about the future of Xbox, if you want to know about Scarlet, this 50-minute interview, let's say, is absolutely fantastic. It's in video form. I'd check out the video because, Phil Spencer's very relaxed in it. He's just incredibly relaxed. I think Jeff Gersman, who's doing the interviewing, it might be one of the ones where he's wearing shorts, so ignore his very bright legs, because he's awesome. I love, Jeff is just, Jeff is being Jeff, and he's just amazing. I love that he's that comfortable. But it's a very fun, interesting interview, and I think I referenced it last week when we were talking that Phil was saying about people almost borrowing your Xbox to stream games, and this is kind of where Phil was talking about that, and you could just feel all of the Microsoft PR guys going, stop talking, just stop talking now. But he's very open, he's very candid. I actually watched the video, and then when I went into London yesterday, it popped up in my pod feeds, so I ended up listening to it again, because there's something about Phil when he's on that sofa talking to the Giant Bomb guys. He's incredibly relaxed. He almost leaves Phil Spencer, the Microsoft executive, at the door, and he's Phil Spencer, the gamer, when he kind of sits on that sofa. So I'll stick a link in the show notes for anyone who hasn't heard it. But Stu, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't heard it or watched it, it's night 2, but there's also on YouTube, they broke it out to be its own thing. So just, if you want to listen to it, but like I say, head over to gamerslotspark.com, and I'll stick a link in the show notes of this very pod. So that's it.
No, I'm just having a look at that, so I will download that and have a look.
Don't do it now. You're in a pod. Did you know you're podding?
Sorry, I can multitask.
No, you can't. We're men. We can't do that. People know that. I mean, like when I'm at work, I'll suddenly go quiet on a meeting. They're like, "You're writing, aren't you?" I'm like, "Shut up! I can't do 2 things at once." We're men, so and you've got to be very professional.
No, I'm playing Mario Maker. Leave me alone.
So where were we in the seat? I can't even remember where we were in the pod. Right, Stu, what have you been playing this week, sir?
Well, I mean, I think there's. We'll go straight in headlong into the one I think we've both been playing and enjoying. So I went against my own wise words last week and said I'm not going to consume this because if you listen to last week's, you know I had an injury.
Yes, and
that injury meant that I pretty much spent the whole of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday sitting on the sofa with my foot in the air
Holy
and
moly.
a bag of peas on it. Yeah. So my promise to not gouge on Forza Horizon 4, the Lego expansion, sort of went out the window. And I have stopped. I did play some on Sunday, I think, but I sort of got to the point that I unlocked the Senna, and I sort of pushed my way back and went, no. You've got to the Senna. I just put in my swimming pool, I think, in my house.
Right.
And then it's just like, right, I'm gonna stop there and catch up with it later on. But oh man, what a fantastic! I mean, we all the Sparks sort of said, how the hell are they going to beat last year's expansion of the Hot Wheels pack?
Yeah,
and and I wouldn't say. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's different. I can't really compare the two because I think as you probably touched on last week, the Hot Wheels expansion was a bit sort of like out there. It was what Hot Wheels was. It's massive loops, fast turns, and all this lot. Where with the Lego one, you're just driving around a field in a Lego car, smashing as many flowers as you can in 1 minute to unlock a brick. And I've just been loving it. The way it just brings you in, the way you can use real cars in it, and the way it just steps you up. When you first saw this is what we want you to do. This is this is how you earn the bricks to build your house. I sort of looked at it and thought, blimey, there's a lot of stuff to do here. And then you sort of realise that actually, if you just treat it as a normal Forza game, and you do the challenges, you do that, it unlocks new challenges, it unlocks speed challenges, and then that helps you build the bricks to build your house to get your Forza Lego Edition cars. But I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And if anybody listens to the pod who has Forza, has the DLC pack, I'd download it, because it just adds something different to an already brilliant game. And the fact that you can drive your real car in there as well as your Lego car just makes it even more fun.
Or vice versa, as I did on Friday night when I kind of jumped in after work. I unlocked, obviously, you get the Lego Mini, and then you're kind of like driving around that Mini. Then I took the Mini into mainland, back into the kind of normal map. And I think I posted...
I didn't realise you could do that.
Yeah. So, but you basically just, once you unlock those cars, they're just available to select. So I took a car, I took the Mini into the norm. And I think I sent you guys, because obviously I was activating photo mode straight away. I think I sent you guys a link, and also I think I put it onto Twitter as well. And it was just I was in the Cotswolds, and I pulled up in a Mini. I pulled up alongside another Mini, and just that contrast between the two of them was just gorgeous. Was just amazing, because you have this very sleek looking Mini, and then you have this very Lego shaped Mini version of it, and and interestingly, I was listening to, I think it might have been Inside Xbox, but they were saying that when they build the cars in Forza Horizon, they basically have aerodynamics is all dynamic, but they had to tweak it, because obviously a Lego car is so square, so the Lego cars wouldn't move, because the aerodynamic engine wouldn't allow them to kind of move around, so they had to tweak it. It was like, if it's a Lego car, then do this, type thing, in basic sense of the word. You can hear James hitting his forehead going, why do I even let him talk? But it was really nice just like popping those back in. But then, as you say, I kind of went back in Brickchester. I think, as we were saying last week, that map is just gorgeous. Tomorrow it changes over to winter, because we've got autumn at the moment. At the moment, all the Lego trees are all kind of orangey and brown and just look absolutely gorgeous. I cannot wait to see next week and the week after that, and just kind of get that flow. But what I love is that you're in Brickchester, you're in Lego Valley, and you know which ones that you haven't unlocked the bricks for yet, because they have that little Lego icon next to it, so you know that you need to kind of unlock that. And I just think that is fantastic. And the more you do, the more bricks you get, and then it keeps taking you back to your house, does it? The master builder house. So you can then kind of add extra expansions to your house. It unlocks more stories and more levels and more races. And so I just really love that you kind of you do that. It's just progressing, as you say, just like the other Forza game. One thing that I didn't notice until I think it was yesterday when I was playing it, so I completely missed it over the weekend, is that when it turns to nighttime, there's these little aliens that pop up on the map. Yeah. And I just love that. I just like, because I was like,
have you listening to music, or you listen to podcasts again whilst you're playing your game?
I'm listening to podcasts while I'm playing this, so I'm just like, I listen to
they tell you.
Oh right, really?
They tell you at one point that the island has been invaded by aliens.
Yeah.
And you'll find alien vessels plotted all over the map, and they only turn up at night.
Yeah.
And then later on, it doesn't really give anything away, but later on they then say more of them appeared, but this time they only turn up when it rains.
Right. That's so cool.
So that they're obviously introducing some little bits like that.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I found some quite cool little things like that, and it's just been a nice mixture of like. There was a few of them, like the speed cameras that I was going for, because I think I've done all the races now, I think.
Have you done the story? Have you done the story? Because I'm finding that quite hard. I'm finding that I was saying, like Nicola was playing one of the games I'll get to in a bit. Was playing Overcooked 2, and so I was just sitting there playing it, and I was just like, I started going through the story last night, and I'm finding that some of them getting 3 stars on some of the story ones were at the moment were a little bit tricky, but I might need to just because they give you a car, they're like, right, you got to do it in this car, you got to do that in that car. But that is just. But I'm one alien face away. I can't find it on the map, and of course the moment the sun comes up it disappears, so I've got to wait for nighttime again, and I just bloody love it. I just think that is such a great addition that they haven't done before.
Have you used your treasure map on there?
I do that first thing. Press Y, and then I press Y, and then just fast travel to all of those boards, unlock all those boards, and then just.
I think Saturday, Friday, I can't remember. It was one of the mornings. It's all weekend. It's a whole week since our last pod has just blurred into one. But I smashed all the boards, and then I was gonna put up on the WhatsApp group that I got all the boards, and then I noticed, I think it was Saturday morning, that you'd gone and got all the boards as well. So it's like, the rivalry of everybody smashing the boards is still there.
I just love that. It's almost like a go-to thing for me with my Forza. It's like drive the raid, smash the boards, and then, like I say, I didn't find until last night about these alien things, and I just completely missed them on the map. And like I say, I listened to the awesome radio for a while, but then I was like, I love listening to Forza, but I just thought, do you know what, this is a great time for me just to chuck on a podcast and then just kind of chill out and just really relax, and that's what I was doing. So I completely missed it. But I must admit, there was a couple of races, especially when you're doing off road, that take you down to that beach. The beach with all the pirate ships.
Pirates, yeah.
Stunning. It is absolutely stunning. On the Xbox One X, whether it's on the 1080p TV or the 4K TV, it looks absolutely stunning. Forza Horizon 4 does this to me all the time, where you just kind of go, I can't believe how amazing this game is. I can't believe how amazing it looks. You go into photo mode and it just blows me away. And there's something about the way this whole kind of Lego thing, it's really funny because it contrasts with the world, but just blends in so amazingly as well. And I do feel that this Lego expansion, I feel, is better than the Hot Wheels expansion. The Hot Wheels expansion gave us some really good courses that I will forever love and still play every now and then. But there's something about this Lego expansion that I just absolutely love. Going up to that racetrack, there's a racetrack at the top of the
top,
and that is just fantastic. That is really cool. Just kind of doing that, and like I say, I've got lots to do still. And as you say, once you start unlocking the bricks to build your mansion, to build your house, you do just get this one big screen of all these challenges that you need to unlock and do, and it can be a bit daunting. But like you, I was just like, right, I'm going to do all the races first. I'm going to do all the blue ones first, and then I go, right, okay, now I'm going to do the off-road. I'm going to do this. I unlocked the Ferrari at the weekend. That's an unwieldy beast, isn't it? It's just like, it slides all over the place. It really
I haven't used that one much. I love the Mini. The Mini, I mean, I think I put it up on our WhatsApp group. The Mini, I very rarely play in cockpit view.
Yes,
But that Mini with I don't know, maybe it's the OCD in me, but with the cockpit view, the steering wheel's exactly in the middle, and everything is put, and it's just such a cool little car. And I actually have found myself at the beginning playing out of car as well, so I can actually see the car driving around, because you're like, I'm driving around in a Lego car, but I'm not. I could be just in a normal Mini. It feels great. It feels like a normal Mini. And it's just been really good. But I do find that I'm jumping. I went to do a few of the speed challenges, a few of the speed cameras, and I'm trying to be loyal to the game. I'm trying to do as much as I can in the Lego car, because I just feel slightly a bit like you with Spider-Man, where your first run through you had to stay in the OG Spider-Man outfit.
Yes.
I'm like, I want to be in a Lego car when I'm doing this. So I sort of made a bit of a pact to myself where I'd try everything in a Lego car, and if I couldn't achieve it in a Lego car, then I'm allowed to dip into another one. So there's a few times I've gone over to like a Koenigsegg or something like that to do some of the speed challenges. But no, it's just, I've not done a storyline. I've sort of not avoided it, but not decided not to do that at the moment. But I've done a few of the brick challenges where it's like knock down 10 dustbins in 60 seconds. And there's one where, have you seen by the side of the road, you've got the bonus cubes, the pink cubes.
Right.
Yeah. So there's some bonus cubes in there, which it tells you, I think right at the beginning, where if you smash them, they regenerate themselves. And but you get like 25 in-game points or whatever when you smash one. But there's an achievement for smashing 500 of those as well. As I'm driving around, I'm slowly trying to take those things out. But there's just there's the normal like good ones, like do the cross-country race in your Mini. But there's like smash in Brickchester, find the hot dog van and smash it in a 69 Shelby Cobra. Or something like that. Yeah. And you're like, okay, I'm going to go through and do the game, but there's still so much content there afterwards where I can because not only do I want to get all the achievements in this game, apart from the drifting ones are going to be a pain in the bum like normal. But I also just want to get all those bricks, all those lovely little bricks as well.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm just really enjoying it. I'm just, I often say, when I'm sitting here talking about it, all I want to do is stop and play it now. And I really do feel that it's just sucking all my gaming time out of me, and I'm just thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of my go-to at the moment. Like I say, Nicola was playing Overcooked 2, the Hangry Horde, which we'll get to in a moment. She was playing that, and so we've got past the bit where I'm any good, which is the 3 stars and everything. And now as she's doing the rest, so I was just sitting there last night playing for like a good couple of hours, and I just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just such a great time. Just driving around. I'm actually finding myself, instead of fast traveling to the next race, I'm just driving because you got the desert with you got the Jurassic world, whatever it is, that just looks fantastic, and it just looks so good. I just absolutely love it. I just think they have Playground Games have just really kind of knocked it out of the park in this one. I didn't see it coming. Matt saw it coming, but didn't see it coming. But I just absolutely love it. I just think this is just the perfect expansion for that. And I just love that it's its own little self-contained thing. But as I say, you can take a mini around Edinburgh, a Lego mini around Edinburgh if you want. But it's just fantastic. I just absolutely love it. It's great.
There's definitely a need for the blueprint. I mean, it's on there, but it's definitely a need for the course generator on this, because there are some, around the airport, and then I'm trying to think there's down towards the bottom. There's the one that's got the big sloping banks in it.
Yes,
I think there's definitely some quite fun, joyous nights had there, which making up a few tracks around the off-road Lego things, going in and out of the biplanes and going down to there and up and down those big, because I think a few of the alien cases were on top of them, so there's definitely a go on top, drive along it, come back down the other side, and things like that. So there's definitely some real good multiplayer. So we'll have to get the Sparks together one evening and just jump in and have a whirl on there on the both Lego and Lego cars back in the real world.
Yeah, that just sounds so cool. I must admit that one where it's kind of, like I say, it's a bit like a skate park where you have those kind of like half pipes. There is one race where you kind of go up those, and I just love that, because I play so you can see the bonnet. That's where I play on Forza now, and it's so. You just almost lose your car. You don't know where you are. You don't know. You kind of just jump up in the air. You don't know, and you hope that you're just going to be pointing in the right area. And I love it. It's just so much fun. It is funny though that when you go into a race, you are potentially the only Lego car in the races as well. You are the only. It just feels like you feel such an outsider most of the time. Like you, I haven't unlocked the McLaren yet. I've got 200 bricks to go until because it tells you what's next, doesn't it? It says, you got 200 bricks to go. So I've got 200 bricks to go before I unlock the McLaren, but I'm just like, the Mini is like, it's like A130 or something like that. I think it's like an A class or an S class, but it's so powerful. It really does kind of handle most of the challenges so far.
Yeah, I think it's a cracking little car. So I wasn't a massive fan of the F40 when I drove it, and because obviously you do a race for people who have not played it. To unlock the F40, you must race the real world F40, and it's the same with the Senna as well. And
that took me a couple of times to do that, actually. Yeah, I think I came second twice, and then on the third go, I managed to kind of beat it. It took me a couple of times.
Yeah, but it's I've driven it, but there's a few, I just end up going back to the Mini. I just love that little Mini. It's a cool. Yeah. What I like about it is when you crash it, or if you do like a massive jump and you crash down the other side, you do get parts of the car, bricks snap off of it, so you see like your spotlights from across the top of the car, go off into the distance. So there's that sort of real world destruction as well, and getting into the real world destruction, it's just great when you just sort of like you're just smashing through Lego bricks, and because I think one of the first ones I did, which was knock over 500 flowers in 1 minute or something like that, and you're basically just doing donuts in one of the fields where there's loads of Lego, and it's just that noise. The noise is the exact noise of Lego. When you break or smash Lego, it's just and I know their playground games are great at doing it, but they're just they're just, the attention to detail is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Absolutely, it just sounds like their sound effects guys were just pouring Lego out on a table, because it just sounds so good. When you're going, like you say, when you're going through the fields, you see the little, and it is those pieces, and in photo mode, when I've kind of like pause to do a photo and you get up close, you can actually see little serial numbers on some of the Lego pieces as well, and it is just so amazing. I got in as close as I could and took some really good shots, and it's fantastic. It's just absolutely superb.
Yeah, no, definitely. Brilliant game. I cannot wait to jump back in. So what else have you been playing this week, my friend? Oh, come on, you got to take it off your shoulders. You can throw it out there now. You can tell everybody about the email you got today. What have you finished? What have you finally finished?
I sent Days Gone back to Boomerang, and it's just like, I feel like I should have a party popper. I should have a moment. I finished Days Gone. I finally finished Days Gone. I was up until 1:30 on Saturday night, because I got to that point, which I've got to about 8 times with that game. I've got to that point where I was like, this is it. This is the end. This is going to be, and I just thought, it cannot throw another tangent. This has to be the end of this game. And so I just kept ploughing on. Nicola just said, I was like, yeah, go, Knight, go. I'm in the zone, and I wasn't tired, and I just kept going, and I just kept going and going until I saw credits. And then, saw credits, which took forever as well. I wouldn't skip them. I'm like, no, I'm not going to skip them. I'm just going to sit here. But I needed to have a personal break. So I ran up to the toilet, did whatever I did, and then I came back and the credits were still rolling. I was like, even these credits won't finish. And so I just sat there. And then after you finish the credits, it then goes back into the world, and it's like, you can now free roam. And I was like, nope. Turned off the game, ejected that game, put it into the Boomerang. I've never been so happy to put something in an envelope. And then put Days Gone in the envelope and then sent it back, and they received it today and sent me an email saying, we've received Days Gone. And it was just, it felt just so lovely just to know that game, I finished that game, I've got to the end of it, and it's now off my plate. But I did, we were joking on the WhatsApp group and stuff, but I did enjoy it. I enjoyed that game. But it just went on too long, and that was it. I enjoyed the mechanics. Some of the battles at the end where you have to take out big hordes of the freakers are amazing, because you have felt yourself build up to that moment. So you've got enough stamina, you've got enough health, you've got all of that to be able to take out these kind of big moments. And it was just amazing. I won't spoil the story, but these moments were fantastic to play, and you really felt like it's like when you're at the end of Breath of the Wild, or when you're at the end of any RPG, you're so tooled up at that point that you do you're reaping the rewards for leveling up, for unlocking all of those stamina upgrades from all of the different points. And like I said, I just really enjoyed it, but it just went on too long. Got to that point where it was just comically too long. But I think I sent you guys a message at about 1:20, going, I've finished it, I've done it. Obviously, everyone else was asleep.
Yeah,
no one was around to no one was around to high five me. But it felt so good. Like I say, I continue to enjoy that game. It was a little bit simplistic at the end, but the story was great. It was a bit kind of obvious, but it was just absolutely fantastic. But like I say, as a gaming experience, I really enjoyed Days Gone. As a gaming experience where I'm not probably trying to shoehorn in other games, I could have probably finished it a bit longer. The only downside was I wanted to see how long I'd actually been playing that game.
Yeah.
So I know when I got my first achievement, but I wanted to know how much time I had put into that game. And unfortunately, on the PlayStation Network, you can't find out. Oh. There isn't, like on Xbox, it will tell you how long you've been playing that game for. But it doesn't tell you on PlayStation Network. So if anyone knows out there, then send us an email or tweet at me or something, and let me know, because I'd love to know how much time, because it felt like years, but how much time I did actually put into Days Gone. And it's, and I do joke about kind of how long I played it, but it was, the character was great, the world was incredible, and the graphics were just outstanding. And like I say, that leveling up and all the kind of skill trees, you really did feel like you were improving that character. But like I say, it just could have done with some serious editing. If I'd have played that as a tester, I'd have gone back and go, you need to shave about 4 hours off of that, because it was, you could have taken now I know the ending. There is easily about 4 hours just before the ending that you could easily take out that game. You could easily just go, we don't need that, and no one would notice. No one's going to go, it's over too soon or anything. But Days Gone, like I say, it's a gorgeous looking game. The motorbike, because I think if we remember, way back when I first started playing it, I couldn't really control the bike. But by the end of it, I was just jumping, going off road, being able to really kind of handle that bike and skidding around and taking out. Because it had a great mechanic where when you're driving along the road and maybe suddenly a wolf or a pack of wolves will start chasing you, you can then you have your R1, you can then shoot. So you have to wait till they get quite close. It's almost like a quick time event. And they get close enough and you press R1 and you shoot them. And I was just doing that. Like, it was second nature. It was just really cool. So I just absolutely love some of the mechanics in there. Like I say, the freaker hordes at the end, stealthily trying to take out freak hordes, because the moment they see you, you have a hard time of hiding after they've seen you. So trying to either set up loads of traps around a perimeter, which I did once, set up loads of traps and then hide, take out as many as I could, but then kind of go, ooh, I'm over here, and bait them to where I needed them to go. So they were then they were going past some well-placed tankards or some petrol cans that I could then shoot. There was things like that I just really, I think the last battle, I had this really big gun that had quite a large magazine. And the last battle, I was just like, I'd done it about 3 or 4 times, and I just stood there right at the end, just like, there was probably about, 20, 30 of them, and I just stood there, just unloaded this clip, and this was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and it felt so good, and I was just like, this is fantastic. And it had some really good music as well. There's one good thing about it. It had some really, really good music, like some licensed music and some really good music. So yeah, Days Gone is finished. It's not going to appear in my Game of the Year. It's gone.
So you're not going to just looking at Games Radar, they're talking about a DLC coming for it. So you're not going to get
no, because when I finished it, it actually said that they've unlocked a kind of a harder difficulty in a survival mode.
Survival mode. Like,
you can just bite one, and I'm just like, no.
Weekly challenges to up your. They haven't actually announced DLC. They haven't officially announced any DLC for the story. But you do unlock survival mode, and it gives you a more challenging and more reward, so you can up your man even more. But I don't think that's coming to a Chesson household.
No, I'm done. And it's quite funny because Nicola was like, "Oh, should I play that?" I was like, "No, just play Horizon Zero Dawn, because I don't want to see that game on the channel. I've had enough."
How many Days Gone did you get to in the end? Because I'm trying to think now. Looking at I think the last. Just trying to see if I can find the last picture you took, because you did send one picture, and
that felt like like my playtime. That was how many days had gone. But that again, that was.
There you go, found it. 827 days gone.
Yeah, I think it probably got up into the 900s. I think it was just like so. It was crazy. It was crazy. So what else have you been playing, Stu?
So I picked up a little bit on Void Bastards.
What do you think?
I quite liked it.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I was getting a bit OTT on Lego. Well, just on racing. I just was getting a bit fed up with racing. I was roaming around the Forza, and then there was that part of me that was like, no, I want to try something different. So I jumped onto Game Pass and just had a look around, and I think I'd already downloaded it because obviously I'd heard about it, and I think then we spoke about it on the pod. But I quite liked it. It was quite nice the way you sort of like you start off, and it tells you to go here and tells you don't shoot those. These are don't open that door because these are such and such, and you probably won't survive. And you have to you've got a certain amount of oxygen, and you have to go back and get oxygen if you want to carry on supporting the ship. And I think I went to about 6 or 7 different vessels really.
That's really good.
But no. I really, really, really liked the sort of probably about an hour I had with it. Loved the art style. The art style was brilliant. The comedic side of it was pretty good. The thing that talked to you was quite funny, and the little animals that the little aliens that tried to attack you. But I think for was it an ID Xbox game, or is it a mainline game, or?
No, I think it's an ID Xbox, because it came to Xbox to Game Pass first, didn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah,
but brilliant, really, really good little game. I think I'm definitely going to go back into it and unlock some achievements. Definitely. So, have you been back into it?
I haven't yet because I've been playing Days Gone and Forza and something else I'll get to in a moment. But it's definitely the next game that I want to get back into. And I must admit, as you said just now, when you're kind of going, oh, okay, I've done enough racing, I'm just going to have a look at Game Pass. There's so much in Game Pass, isn't there? Yeah. It is just like an all-you-can-eat buffet of like the best food. You just sit there and go, well, I've wanted to play Metro. Ooh, I wanted to play this. Ooh, Hollow Knight. Or I wanted to play that. There's all these kind of different games that you just kind of want to jump into. And at the moment, that recently added section of Game Pass is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal.
I quite often go to that, and I quite often go into quests, because I think the reason I got onto Avoid Bastards and the next game that I'm play was it was like play an idea Xbox game and 2 idea Xbox games and complete this challenge. And I think we've said this before, but what I love about it is you're like, so rather than going, okay, how do I find out what are the idea Xbox games, or how do I find this or that? Because unless it says like, you've got to play Wolfenstein 2, it's sort of like, okay, well, what ones are these? But you click on the little bit which says, you'll get these points if you do this, and it takes you straight to all the idea Xbox games, and you go, oh, I've actually got that one on there already, so I'll jump into that one.
Yeah.
There was a little. If anybody wants some easy, if they're doing the quest and wants an easy quest, you actually get quest points for watching the E3 press conferences via Mixer.
Yeah.
But what's good is you actually just got to launch it, let it play for a second, come back out of it, and it ticks the box. Wow. So I think I got something like 100 achievement points or something like that, or quest points for like 2.5 minutes of just going play, exit, play, exit, play, exit. It's like,
wow.
Thank you very much. I'll have some of that. But then the other one, which I'd seen it somewhere, I can't think where I'd seen it. It might have been inside Xbox. Was a game called Supermarket Shriek.
Oh yeah.
And if you are an achievement hunter, get this game. I must have popped about 20 achievements in like 20 minutes. It's sort of like my phone was just buzzing, and my Apple Watch was just buzzing in my wrist. But it's quite a cool little game. Basically, you are a goat and a human in a shopping cart, and you play with your triggers, so your left trigger and your right trigger. Yeah. And basically, when you do the left trigger, it makes, I can't remember which way around this is, but when you do the left trigger, it makes the goat make a noise, and when you do the right trigger, it makes the human make a noise. So when you press 1, the cart goes one way. When you press the other one, the cart goes the other way. And when you press them both at the same time, the cart goes forward. So the idea in anybody who remembers the Dow Winton Supermarket Shriek days is that you have like an obstacle course. So you go into the supermarket in your trolley, and then you have to go around the course in the quickest time, get out the other end, but you're just using your left and right triggers and basically making the human or the goat make the noise is what's steering you. Yeah, it's bonkers, absolutely bonkers, but graphically it's quite a cool little game. And actually, there are some sort of like Overcooked type sort of elements in respects of that it pulls you into it, their challengey sort of side of it. Like there's one where you either do a straight through, or you do like, there's one where you've got to knock over the most amount of baked bean cans in, and unlock your star. So it's another one of these ones which don't give it to Nicola, because you're not going to be able to go past it unless you pass 3 stars. But yeah, it was just, if you want something that's just a bit of a giggle, and I could imagine, I don't know whether there's co-op or couch co-op or anything, but I can imagine, or actually I'll tell you what could be quite good, because you can assign controls of a controller, can't you? So you can have 2 controllers, and one of you can shoot and one of you can steer. What the Xbox lets you do anyway with games, doesn't it?
Right. Yes.
So what could be quite cool is if you do it whereby you could assign one player but 2 controllers, but one person controls the goat and one person controls the man.
Wow.
That could be quite a good party game. But it is a great little Game Pass game. Popped me ton of achievements, and yeah, it's stupid, but I do want to go back in and see how far it goes, and some of it is actually quite frustrating. So good game, really would recommend it.
I'm just looking on the Game Pass app, and I can see it. Yeah, it looks bonkers. It looks absolutely, and it does local co-op of 2 people and Xbox Live co-op 2 to 8 people.
Ooh.
So you can have 8 people playing that game, and it's 4K, and it's 4K as well. It's funny because they must know, because there's a quest for 1,000 points to unlock 10 achievements, and they give you these games. So it's called Achievement Hunter. So if you unlock 10 achievements in any of these games, and when you say you see available games, it's Metro, Astroneer, Hollow Knight, Borderlands, Guacamelee 2, Everspace, Shenmue 1 and 2, Moonlighter, Batman Arkham Knight, and the Turing Test. Turing Test is a great game. So you got like 10 achievements of those games. You get 1,000 points, and it's called Achievement Hunter. So, but they haven't put Supermarket Shriek in there, which makes me chuckle, because they know you can just unlock it so easy.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's like, well, Arkham Knight will keep you going for a while, but it's I think I did see that one, but that's why I know we've said it again and don't want to sort of wax lyrical about it, but the quest is it's just great, because it's like when like I said last week or the week before, I can't remember now, when it's like I'm a bit sort of like flitting around from left to right, and not sure what to play and all this lot. And I think that actually you can just go in and go to quests, or go in and go to recently added to Game Pass, and there is so much stuff in there to play that you can just have a dabble, get some achievements. At the end of the day, the quests, if you do the quest, it does get towards you getting points mean prizes, which means you can get your next sort of like main budget if you save them, or lower budget game free of charge. So it's definitely worth doing it. But I would recommend Supermarket Shriek. It is a bit of a shriek.
I will download it and check it out, and just have a look, because that it sounds like good fun. Maybe it's kind of what we need after the next game that I've been playing, which is Overcooked 2. So we're back. So I didn't know about this, completely missed it in the Nintendo. I think it was in the Nintendo conference, or the Nintendo Direct, that they showed when they were going through all their indie titles. They showed like some DLC for Borderlands. Sorry, not Borderlands, for Overcooked 2. And I think they kind of showed that was there. And I think it was on Thursday, or I think a Thursday night or something like that. It might have been Thursday night while we were podding. Suddenly I got a press release saying that there is the Hangry Horde is out now. And
I'm surprised you didn't stop podding straight away and go downstairs.
Well, no, just because I knew that if I did that, then Nicola would have me there until kind of like God knows what time. So I just basically, I think I kind of told her, like, just as she was a bluting, just so I was like, and she was like, right, tomorrow night, what are we going to do? This is what we're going to have for dinner. And then so we jumped into Hangry Horde, and so we started playing that, which is just so much fun. So it's basically Hangry Horde, another DLC for Overcooked 2, and you basically go to the extras menu. It takes you into a whole new map that you have to unlock. I think it's got 3 levels, so it's like three levels of 5, 3 like kind of different sections of 5 levels. Plus, for the first time, what they've done is they have changed it slightly, because they have something called Horde. So as well as doing the normal kind of got to get all of these meals out and get them out in that time, and they have 3 of those in the game, and they've still got Kevin levels as well. But as well as having all of those, they've added this other mode called Horde, and Horde is basically, there's 8 levels to the Horde, and it is just that. It's like Call of Duty, right? It's like zombie mode in Call of Duty, because what you got to do is you have your kitchen, and then your kitchen will have 4 or 5 windows, depending on what level you'll get to. And then so you have these windows, and the unbred, is what they call them, will arrive. So they kind of come up to the window. The only way to get rid of them is to give them the food that's above their head. So one wants pizza, wants a sausage pizza, so you gotta make the pizza and give it to them. But if you take too long, they start to break down the wood that's over the windows, same as like kind of Call of Duty zombie mode. They start to break down their windows. So you give it to them, they disappear, and as you serve them their food, you get money, so you get some currency, and you use that to rebuild your windows. And what you've got, instead of 3 stars, 4 stars, you've actually got a a health bar. So there's 100%, and there's an achievement, which Nicola, has unlocked for me. So, which is 100%. So you got to get 100% on all 8. The last one is tricky as hell. But you had to get 100% on all of those 8 things, because as soon as one maybe starts to come through, then your health bar goes down. So the moment that happens, we just restarted anyway. Nicola restarted. And then, so we basically just kind of go, you have to go through it, and it's just so much fun. It is frantic. The first couple just really ease you into it quite nicely. And then what it does, it only gets that far, and then it pushes you back to the story mode, and then you go back to normal Overcooked. Okay. And then it unlocks some more, and then you go back and do that. But they had ones, and they've also brought in some new recipes as well. And the best thing is they have 2 new sets of chefs. So we have because this is the Unbread, it's almost like a Halloween edition of Overcooked 2. I'm now playing as a little vampire chef who is just adorable, and he is awesome. So that is my go-to one. The one before, I always had the chef with a really stupid grin on his face, because Nicola said it looked like me. So I just had this real stupid, dopey looking one. And so now I've got the dopey looking vampire, which is cool. Yeah. And they also had a pirate pack as well. So we got that, and Nicola is now the red-headed pirate, which is quite cool. So we've kind of changed that. And so that was, and it's just, but the Horde, I just really loved it. The fact that you do so in between the levels, you just quickly run around to all the windows, make sure you repair them all, and every now and then this giant kind of apple will appear, and the apple needs 2 meals to make it go away. So that one is quite frantic, and then you are kind of while something's cooking or whatever, you're then repairing the windows right in front of it just to kind of keep it at bay. But it was just so much fun. It's the same Overcooked fun, screaming, shouting, crying, in my case, but it is just, it's so much fun, and this Horde mode is really cool, and it's just, and the new recipes, which really made me chuckle, the new recipes there is a roast dinner. So there's a roast dinner, so you have to, I think the ingredients are, you got beef or chicken, and then there was carrots, potatoes, and broccoli, and then there was also an apple and blackberry pie as well, which coincidentally is what we had on Sunday. So we had this Overcooked dinner. We had a Sunday roast dinner with beef, and then we had a beef and apple. We had an apple and blackberry crumble. So it was very kind of in the style of Overcooked, which is just really made me chuckle.
I want to see it next time you do it. I want to see it full cosplay. Yeah. I want you having a roast dinner in full cosplay, and an Overcooked sort of homage to Overcooked.
Nicola was saying, at the end of when I'm serving up the roast dinner at the end, it's like Overcooked, because I'm just I'm running around mashing sweet and carrots, and it's just it's like Overcooked in here. And I was going to get, because insert coin clothing, they have a really cool Overcooked apron, which I was going to buy. They released that the other day, and it's really cool. But the problem is, it's white. Oh. And my apron at the moment, which is this navy blue and white, is just I wash it weekly, because I'm a messy little puppy, Stu. I'm messy in the kitchen. So honestly, Nicola was like, it'll be like a Persil advert with you. It would you're never going to get that clean. But it's awesome. It's really cool. But I just absolutely love it. It's just Overcooked. They surprised us with this, and they kind of just unlocked it. And true to form, Nicola has now, it took her 4 days, right? To 4 days to unlock all 4 stars solo on all of the new modes. I just don't know how I can't talk to her while she's doing it. I can't even look at the screen sometimes. Sometimes she goes, don't look at the screen. It's just but it is just, I do not know how she does it. But what we do now is, we do 3 stars, so we don't move on until we've done 3 stars. Once we've got 3 stars on everything, you normally go back to the Onion King, and then he kind of goes, oh, and now you've unlocked 4-star. That's when I leave the game. That's my cue. That's my cue to go. So that's my cue. And
you're not wanted anymore.
So no, and because Overcooked will never get it right that you unlock achievements for both of you. We play on my gamer card, so we play on my account, and Nicola joins. So I'm the primary, so I get all of the achievements. And then Nicola then goes and plays on her own again. And then which is great in a way, because she then she's the only person playing, so she then attacks the map fresh, and gets all the achievements as well. So and last night she unlocked the last 4th star, and I just do not know. I think she's playing two of the bonus Kevin modes right now, but that's because I just don't know how she does it. I really don't. It's just. It's a thing to behold. I tried to get her to Twitch it last night. I said, "Do you know what we should do? We should put you on Twitch. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to go on mic. You don't have to show your face. Let's just show like how you get 4 stars on solo." But she wouldn't have it. She wouldn't have it.
That would be quite cool because it's like I was just looking at the apron now. It's great. There's no.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah, I mean they could. It's is it blue or is it black? I can't quite tell.
It's black.
Yeah, but they're so easy to reverse that. They could quite easily reverse that and do a black apron with white writing.
Yes.
But no, it's quite cool. Onion King.
It's very cool. I'll stick a link in the show notes to that, and then I'll just write that and Phil Spencer. I'm not sticking a link to Phil Spencer in the show notes, just that Phil Spencer one. But yeah, so Overcooked 2, the Hangry Horde, is just absolutely fantastic. So have you been playing anything else, or have we got to the end of what we've been playing?
I think that's about it, really. Yeah, I mean, I had a bit of a clear out and delete a few games. Still having issues with my my hard drive not wanting to realise it's there when I switch it on. So I was on Amazon the other day deliberating and cogitating about buying an SSD drive for it. But
right.
Yeah, it's, at the moment, most places for a Seagate Xbox branded one, for a 1 terabyte is about 220 quid.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just sort of like, well, you know, I could do a 500 and that's 120, I think, or something like that. But, you know, it's a lot of money for a hard drive. So it's like I haven't bothered yet. But no, so I had a bit of a clear out, downloaded a few things, downloaded Metro Exodus and a few other bits and pieces. And I think I'm going to try and jump back in this weekend, do a bit more. Might try and jump in after the pod tonight and do a little bit more Lego. But no, nothing more new to say of.
Excellent stuff. Superb. Well, let's jump into the news. But before we start the news, don't forget you can rate, review and subscribe to this very podcast for free on iTunes, Spotify and YouTube. So in the news section this week, Hello Games are getting some much deserved love. Could Last of Us 2 be coming out in February? And also, we're going to get our Wizard on Friday. But Stu, the first piece of news is with you.
Yeah, I sort of came across this tweet the other day. It was Sean Murray. Someone had retweeted it, and I think it's one of Sean Murray's tweets. But basically, he put out a tweet saying that some of the No Man's Sky community had basically put a GoFundMe campaign together. It's someone by the name of Cam G over in Australia had basically put a GoFundMe with a goal of $6,000, and what it was basically it was to put. Let me see if I can find it. There you go. Hello Games has put in a heroic amount of effort into No Man's Sky to where we are today. As a community, we'd like to express our thanks. The funds will be used to print and install a thank you billboard in Guildford, UK, within walking distance of the Hello Games Limited office. A portion of these funds will also be used to buy a case of beer and lunch for the team, and all excess funds will be donated to the Sydney Children's Hospital Foundation. Obviously, being Australia, they probably live in Sydney, so that's where it's going there. As of now, 321 people in 6 days have raised $5,113.
Wow!
So I just thought it was just a nice little, just a nice little gesture. Everybody knows the story. If you're in gaming, everybody knows the story about No Man's Sky, and and people's thoughts on it when it first came out on PlayStation. But I think since it's rolled out on multi-platforms, and obviously whilst it had been on PlayStation as well. I think that the guys at Hello Games listened, and it's got better, and it's got better, and it's got better. I mean, admittedly, I think I had it on PlayStation. I think I boomeranged it, so I didn't buy it to go back into it. So I haven't been back into it again yet. But it is one of those games where I keep on thinking, I'll try and pick up a copy on eBay or something like that, or maybe rent it again and see what it's like. But it's just quite a nice little gesture, and quite a nice little, there's so many people playing this. $6,000 is not not a lot of money if you split it between a load of people paying $5 here, and looking at the donations, $5, $10, $5, $15, $50. As we quite often say, we'll play those free games and buy DLC, or buy that skin in Fortnite for instance, because we want to show our appreciation. And I think these guys, these people, they are human beings. Just because you don't like the game or it's not what you wanted at the moment, it doesn't mean these guys aren't human beings. They've put blood, sweat, and tears in this. So really sort of proud of my fellow gamers to do something as a nice gesture like this.
Absolutely. I mean, when Hello Games were going through all of that bad time, when everyone was kind of really when they first got their hands on No Man's Sky, and there was all of that kind of backlash that they had, they could have just gone, do you know what, it's fine. Don't worry about it. We're just not going to do anything with that game. We're just going to move on, make another game, and have a bit of a tough time when they announce that next game, because they'll always be talking about that. But they didn't. They kind of hankered down. They have a vision. They have a love. They have a passion for No Man's Sky. So they just kept going. And I just thought, when I saw this on Twitter, I just thought it was just really nice. The fact that those guys are going to work and they can see that billboard. I think they can see the billboard from their office, can't they? I think
no, it's 10 minutes walk. It's
10 minutes walk.
It's 10-minute walk. It's the closest billboard to their offices in Guildford in the UK. So and I think it's such a busy billboard. I think that they've managed to secure a 2-week slot, and then that's it. They can't get anything on it until middle of next year or something like that, because it's such a busy billboard. So.
But how amazing must that have been when you first kind of walked to work that day or drove to work that day and saw that, and it's just especially being like Sean Murray. I mean, because they're not a big team, no. Even now with all the stuff they're doing, you can imagine just kind of that would they've stolen my idea for when Rare make Viva Pinata 3, but
it'll never stop, James. Please, it'll never stop.
I get to talk about that in a bit, but so yeah, but it's just. I just think it's fantastic. It just really warmed my cockles when I saw that.
Definitely, no. It was just nice to say. It was with all the trolling in our social feeds these days. It's just nice to get a bit of love. So no. The next story is with you, my friend.
Absolutely. And speaking of love, everyone loves those wizards. Harry Potter Wizards Unite. That's a really bad segue. Harry Potter Wizards Unite, the AR game from Pokemon Go developers Niantic, is going to start rolling out around the world on Friday. So Friday, I'm in London. This will be great. So according to their official tweet, the game has, I think it's been in beta in New Zealand, Australia. So they've already, if you've got an Android, you can do it so that you pick up that game from that store. But it's been available in Australia or New Zealand. But on Friday, we don't know how long it's going to take to start kind of permeating around all of the different app stores around the world. But it's going to be available at some point on Friday. So this sounds just fantastic. So it's kind of the same as Pokemon Go, where you kind of go into the world. It's a very AR world, but this is going to be full of fantastical beasts, almost like a bit like Fantastic Beasts. And I can't wait to have a play of this. I'll be quite excited to just kind of check it out for the first couple of weeks and have a bit of a. I really hope that this kind of jumps on, especially with the summer, because Pokemon Go had the same kind of thing where it took over a summer. There was a summer where everyone was Pokemon Go. I still see it in Tunbridge Wells, where every now and then you'll see these little pockets of people, because there's the Poke stations, Pokemon training stations, whatever they are in the game around kind of my walk into town, and you can just see them playing, and I just love when I see them kind of all together, and you can hear the excitement as they're trying to get something. So I'm hoping that, as similar to Pokemon fans, you're going to have lots of Harry Potter fans, and then with this whole AR, capture them all and got to catch them all kind of mechanics. I'm just hoping that this really does just kind of take off over the summer, and I'm just hoping it kind of works really well. So I'm going to be downloading it. Stu, are you going to be turning your phone into an AR wizard capture device on Friday?
Probably not. No.
Oh my goodness, you grumpy old man.
I hate to be boring, but I'm going to be in the quaint East Sussex village of Wadhurst, and I can't imagine there's going to be much in Wadhurst going around and going on. And if I'm not in Wadhurst, I'll be back in Mountfield, where my office is, where there definitely won't be anything going on. Might be in Bexhill when I go and play football later, but no, I might. Yeah. I mean, I think I did download Pokemon Go and had a brief sort of tete-a-tete with that. But yeah, I'll probably download it. I'll probably have a look at it. Obviously, the interest of the pod, obviously.
Yes.
And see what it's like. But no, unfortunately, it doesn't really float my boat. It's not the sort of thing that I'm particularly that interested in. But I'll have a look in the interest of professionalism.
Absolutely. I mean, if it's ready Friday morning, before 1 o'clock when I go and have my beer and burrito, I have my beer in Diagon Alley, where the first movie's Diagon Alley. Then they moved it to Borough Market. But I go to Leadenhall. So in Leadenhall is where I have the beer and the burritos in Leadenhall as well. And that would just be so cool if they actually, because there is the Leaky Cauldron, the doorway to the Leaky Cauldron is an optician's, or maybe it's not an optician's. Maybe that's just a magical front that only muggles can see. But that's it. It'd be really cool if you kind of went to spots that are in the movie. If you kind of went to those places and something nice happens, there. That would be really. I doubt if that much attention to details happen, but it would be really cool as if you're in Diagon Alley. It kind of recognises that you're there. That you're kind of around that area. That would be really cool. Like King's Cross, if you were at platform 9 3/4, which does actually exist, there is a signpost for platform 9 3/4. If you were there, having something kind of magical happen on your through the device, that would be quite cool. Like kind of recognise that kind of GPS. But I can't wait. I'm hoping that it's there on Friday while I'm in London, just to kind of set up my wizard, do all of that sort of malarkey, and just have a bit of a play and see what it's like. There's been a Ghostbusters one, there's been a Jurassic Park one, and we have kind of bounced on and off them quite fast.
Yeah.
But the Harry Potterness and the fact that this is doing something just a little bit different, kind of is piquing my interest.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the page here, it does look quite interesting. And as you say, it's they've certainly, with Harry Potter World, the amount of people I know who I see on Facebook and that, who the kids are going to Harry Potter World, I think this will potentially appeal to a broad range of individuals, beer and burritos, right down to school kids coming out of school going to Harry Potter World. If you go to Harry Potter World, it might. I've got to say, actually, I've never been a huge fan of the Harry Potter stuff, but I did go to Harry Potter World year before last, I think it was, because we had our industry awards there. So on the platform there, the platform 9 3/4 there, where they've got the train that you can get on, we had our industry awards dinner there, and then walked around outside and then back through. So it was a magical, excuse the pun, it was a magical place, and actually what they've done up there is brilliant. So I agree with you. If you go to some of the landmarks where it was filmed, it could be quite nice, even if you just got a little congratulations or a little thumbs up on the screen or something like that. It would just be quite nice.
A little badge unlocked or something like that you've kind of been like to Diagon Alley or 9 3/4, or like the Harry Potter Studios. Because if you think about it, the first part of the Harry Potter Studio tour is the Great Hall. So if you're like, oh, you're in the Great Hall, and then you get nearly headless Nick appears in the game, little things like that, could be some really nice kind of fanboy bits kind of just popped in there. I'm looking forward to it. I'm quite excited, actually.
Maybe they could deal up with Groupon, and if you go to the door, which is now the opticians, you get a free eye test or something like that.
Get magical glasses like Luna Lovegood. I just realised the amount of Harry Potter references I'm putting in. I'm a nerd, and I love it.
I was going to say, we're nerding today, because with your Avengers earlier and now your Harry Potter now.
I know.
It's
count my Harry Potter references. That's what I'm going to do when I'm editing on Friday or Saturday. I'm going to count how many of those nerdy Harry Potter references. I love it. It's awesome. It's superb. Stu, get me away from this nerdy funk. Next piece of news series with you.
There was. This comes from Games Radar. I've heard it on a couple of things, but there is a very dubious leak that Last of Us 2 release date is going to be pointing, or is looking towards, February 2020. So I'm going to read this, so please excuse me. The Last of Us 2 might be coming February 2020 if you're to believe the extremely dubious leak. In an exclusive interview with Critical Role voice actor Ashley Johnson, who plays Billy in the Last of Us series.
Ellie.
Ellie, sorry, did I say Billy, didn't I? Sorry, Ellie, she told you. Might let slip between the host, sheets between the host Brian W. Foster that Naughty Dog's highly anticipated sequel could be coming as early as next year. The quick snippet, which was dug up by PlayStation Universe, takes place at the 1 hour and 7 minute mark in the interview, which dives into the topic of The Last of Us Part 2. Foster asks, when does it come out, by the way? Johnson replies, I think it's coming out before being cut off. In my mind, I think this is the person writing the article, though this is entirely a joke context and is a riff on the idea, according to Johnson. It's only me that chooses the release date, justifying the fans. Because there was one article where I think Nick Drummond said, one of them said every time you say when's it coming out, they're going to put it back by 5 minutes or something like that.
Right,
but there was I think people are clutching at straws basically, and they're basically looking at people who have leaked something before, and then that turned out to be true, and so people are jumping on the bandwagon. The rumour is that this is going to be coming in February 2020, which, if it does, is great. But on the flip side, it isn't, because there's a lot of games around, as we were talking last week, around February, March, and April.
Yes, absolutely. I think the thing that this was kind of linking into was that Jason Schreier of Kotaku also he called Death Stranding being November, and he said that his sources said that Death Stranding was November and Last of Us Part 2 is February. So then having kind of Ashley Johnson going fur, and there's only 1 month that starts with fur, that was it could have been Friday, and that was, and then we were going to have it Friday, but they put it off. But it kind of almost, that's why everyone's kind of going crazy on this. I mean, I quite like the idea of this coming out. Like you say, February's a bit, maybe May, kind of push it a little bit later. But PlayStation do always bring out their big games, don't they? Kind of in the spring. They're very much kind of that spring. They leave the third parties, even though they're bringing Death Stranding out in November, they typically leave the third parties to kind of have that Christmas, fall launch, but they normally kind of do theirs in spring, God of War, Spider-Man, all of those
God of War, and that was spring, wasn't it? So I can remember that, yeah. So, but no, it'll be interesting. Say, maybe clutching at straws, but it's certainly, are you looking forward to it? Did you play the first one?
I played the heck out of the first one. Yeah, it's really interesting actually, because I played the first one on PlayStation 3. I started playing it, got sidetracked, got distracted by something else, and then so I never went back. And then they brought out a remastered on the PlayStation 4, and I played all the way through that. Played the DLC as well, and it was a touching, amazing, incredible kind of game that I just absolutely just enjoyed every moment of it. And I had a couple of moments like that with the PlayStation 4. I'd never really finished an Uncharted game, but I went through 1 to 3 before 4 came out, and the same with Last of Us. So Last of Us Part 2, I cannot wait. Did you ever play it? Did you ever play Last of Us?
No, unfortunately, I think Last of Us came in my stint where I wasn't really playing much games. I'd sort of wasn't playing as much as I used to. I had a bit of a down period, but certainly looking at the because it was revealed last E3, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, it was definitely one of those ones which I looked at and thought, this has got me written all over it. It's definitely a me type of game. So it may well be that I go and play the original. I might try and pick up a copy of the original, see if I can play it, and get it squeezed in before then. I can't really see why not. I've got over 6 months to do it, but no, it's definitely one I'm going to play. But I might well try and do that and go back and play the original as a precursor for it.
Yeah, you definitely have to, because it's such a story-driven kind of adventure game. There's some moments in that game that are just absolutely just stunning. You could probably look on Amazon, you probably even look on the PlayStation Store and probably get it for like 20 quid or something like that. It is the remastered version that came out on the PlayStation 4, and I'm not sure if since the X has come out that it's got even another patch, but the remastered one for the PlayStation 4 was amazing.
Yeah, no, I was just actually looking at it now on the see, I'm multitasking, Anthony. I can do this. I am multitasking.
Yeah, and the world can tell, all of the listeners, because you're like, I'm just
damn you load, Amazon. £14.19.
There you go. See.
Yeah, that's got to be worth 15 quid, definitely.
Absolutely, it is. It will. It takes. It's a nice big chunk of time. It's a good story mode. The gameplay isn't too difficult. It's it's absolutely fantastic. And Troy Baker, who plays Joel, is just incredible. There's one place where you see Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson. There's a YouTube clip. I'll put another link in the show notes. Got lots of links in the show notes of Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson singing the theme tune to Last of Us. I think they did it at like a panel at San Diego or something like, or PAX, and it's just so lovely. Just seeing the passion, the fire in both of them when they're playing these characters is just absolutely incredible. It's such a great game, and it's definitely one of those ones that really should be played. There's some games that you should play. There's some tentpole games that you should play. Viva Pinata and Trouble in Paradise is obviously one of them. There's some games that you should play, and Last of Us is one of those. It's kind of definitely up there with those games that need to be played.
I've just ordered it, so there you go. I'll report back around about November time. I'll report back. That's just because it'll be delayed in being
exactly. You could just that could be post Christmas or whatever. You could just, but I tell you, once you turn that on, you go through the opening scene, you'll be hooked straight away. It's one of those games that I played, and I just was on the PlayStation 4. Obviously, I don't know what distracted me on the PlayStation 3, but on the PlayStation 4, I just couldn't put it down.
I have to buy myself a new PlayStation contrloller now. I want that Astro if I can get it over here. I don't know if it's out over here, is it yet?
No, I don't think so.
I have to see. There was what did you put something on the WhatsApp group? I think there was another PlayStation controller which looked quite cool. I know I've hovered around the click and collect from Sainsbury's in Hastings because I think they got an Argos in there. So I kept on looking at it, but it was sort of like 150 quid for a PlayStation controller. I won't use that much, and it was like, I'm not sure.
It was a real chunky, almost elite-looking controller. I can't remember who it's by, but it was just... and it's kind of another one of those things. It's just like, I've pre-ordered the Elite Series 2 because I know that the next box is going to be supporting those. And if Sony were as transparent as Phil Spencer and said, we're going to be supporting old controllers, then you might want to kind of take it forward. But the problem with the PlayStation one is obviously you got that little kind of square, that little touch bit in the middle, so it's hard to they kind of went for a gimmick that they haven't really used a lot of, and so it's hard just to kind of say, are they going to be supporting those going forward, because maybe that won't be needed in the new consoles. But that was a gorgeous, I can't remember who made it, but it was absolutely gorgeous controller. Definitely. So next piece of news is with me, and that is we've got more games coming to Game Pass. So we've already waxed lyrical about Game Pass. Probably the best value in gaming right now, I think. It is just like kind of one of those things. But today, the Game Pass Twitter account, which is very active, it's always active, it's always tweeting. It's quite funny sometimes, and they do troll. Announced that we've got some new games coming. Some are even coming tomorrow. So by the time this pod is in your ears, you'll have some new games coming to to Game Pass. And it's really interesting this time, since they announced Game Pass Ultimate and Game Pass for PC, you'll notice that on the screenshot, and I'll stick a link in the show notes, another one, is that the games have like a different top. So they basically say whether they're console, they're PC, or they're console and PC. So they have this little banner at the top, and it's quite cool. So the games that are coming that are available right now are Resident Evil Revelations, which I haven't played. I haven't played Revelations, so I'm going to have a look at that over the weekend. And then also coming on the 20th, which will be, like I say, by the time this pod posts, is Rare Replay. Ooh. The awesome, fantastic celebration of Rare Replay. The 30 years, 30 games will be available for free. So I tweeted out today that if you haven't played Rare Replay, you're now getting it as part of Game Pass. There is no excuse not to play the awesome, the fantastic, the amazing Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise, now in glorious 4K as well. So there is just absolutely fantastic. And for listeners to the pod, you fire up Rare Replay and have a guess whose face is one of the first faces that you'll see when it jumps into the little video kind of vidocs. It's Mr. James Thomas. So Mr. James Thomas is he's very instrumental in putting together Rare Replay, and so it always makes me laugh. One of the first faces you see is his little friendly face, and it's just it's fantastic. So he's there. He kind of talks a lot about Viva Pinata, obviously, and just Rare Replay, but we I remember years ago when it first came out, and Darren and I were singing on the pod how amazing Rare Replay
I still
was.
remember that.
The opening catchy tune, let's not talk about it. It's going to be available on iTunes. That's like the Darren and Tony mix. The opening tune is so catchy. It's in my head right now. And it's such a fantastic walk through those games. It's just really good. It's one of those ones where I keep wanting to pick up and get some more achievements, but not just be achievements because I want achievements, but there's badges in there. And it's like, right, this shows kind of like the more achievements or quests that you unlock within the game, you get different kind of badges. You level up within the whole game. So it's kind of those ones where kind of as soon as you went to Viva Pinata, it went, right, you've done everything here. Here's your badge for Viva Pinata. And then here's another James Thomas Vidoc. And it was it's fantastic, and it's just so cool. So you got Banjo Nuts and Bolts, both of the Viva Pinatas, all the Banjo games, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, which was James's first game for Rare, and then it goes all the way back to all of those amazing Rare classics, Attic Attack, Sable Wolf, all of those were all kind of old school games, and there's just some absolutely fantastic games in there. So that's coming on June 20th. On the 27th, we have Torment, Tides of Numeria, and that is coming for PC, and that's available part of, obviously, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, or the Game Pass for PC. And then we have Goat Simulator. My nephew Ed, it's one of his favourite games that he plays every now and then, and that's going to be coming to both Game Pass on PC and also on Xbox. And then as well as we're getting lots of games added, we're also getting some that are leaving. Next up, Hero, Dead Island Definitive, Devil May Cry 4, Shadow Complex, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and Zombie Army Trilogy are all leaving around the 27th and the 30th of June. So there's just kind of, some great games come in, some great games leave, but Xbox kind of still remains that kind of awesome one-stop shop for anything Xbox.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's I think I did have Rare Replay. I think I ended up having a bit of a purge and getting rid of it, I'm sorry to say. But I do sort of regret that, because it was every now and again I do think about, I should go back in and pay some more Viva Pinata, because I haven't played as much as Anthony would like me to think, and it's up there with my Avengers, shame. So that's good. Goat Simulator, I just want to see how bonkers that is, so I might jump in and try that. But I was also just reading on Major Nelson's website at the top, where it says basically that Game Pass members get exclusive discounts, like 20% off games in the library, 10% off accessories and consumables. And going back to our earlier conversation, it means you can actually get 10%. If you're in Game Pass now, you can get 10% off Forza Horizon 4 Lego Speed Champions Edition. So get 10%. I'm not sure what it is, but it's worth every penny, even with 10% taken off of it.
It's $14.99 normally, and $13.27 or something like that if you're a Game Pass member.
Without a shadow of a doubt, you should buy that before you go any further today.
I'm just such a nerd. Right, and was that it? Was that now? No, that was it. That was our last piece of news. Wow.
Yeah. Short
one hour 30.
Yeah, we're letting you get back to your weekend activity without listening to us for too long. You've had enough of us over the last. I think we're up to, what was the 3 hours was the last one, and the one before that was 2. So you've had 5.5 hours of us in 2 weeks. That's more than my wife's seen me. So we'll let you go early tonight, people.
That's it. But there's homework. You got to play Viva Pinata. That's your homework.
Thanks, boss.
So not just you, the listeners. Okay, we want cool. all of the people.
I was feeling pressure then. We will have to write an essay and submit it to feedback at Gamers.
Yes. I want to see your achievements for Viva Pinata. Right, that's about it for this episode. Thank you for listening. Stu, huge thanks for pulling up a mic.
No worries, anytime, my friend.
Thank you very much. Don't forget you can keep up with us at gamersofthespark.com. That's where I'm going to put an awful lot of links to the stuff we've been talking about this week. You can also find us on Facebook, on Twitter. We're at Lost Spark Pod. You can find us on YouTube and also Gamers of the Spark, PS4 Community and Xbox One Club. Stu, where can people catch up with you, sir?
You can grab me at General Letdown on Xbox and PSN, and Mr. Stuart Burgess on Twitter.
Excellent. For me, I am Chessman on Xbox Live and Nintendo Switch, PS-Chessman on the PlayStation Network, and Chessman UK on Twitter. Don't forget, if you have any feedback or you want to share those Viva Pinata achievements, you can send them to feedback@gamersofthespark.com. And that's about it. Right, Stu, let's go and play some Forza.
Definitely. Let's boot up the Xbox and get knocking those bricks over.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.